Hello everyone, welcome to What If Naruto Was Neglected and Become the Dragon Sage God Part 4. Before we start, please go support Destroyer God 91 for writing that awesome fanfic. Now let's begin. Chapter 11 Chunin Exams Part 1. Recap. Naruto had his head down the entire time as he slowly lifted his gaze to meet Gato, who saw his eyes and fell on his ass as the rest of the men who saw Naruto's eyes could only think of a demon as Naruto marched closer to them, causing them to step back in fear as he relished the most potent killing intent that they felt in their lives. Then all of you shall die where you stand, said Naruto darkly before going through hand seals. Tiger, rat, horse, monkey, dog, dragon, ram, shouted Naruto, putting his lone arm in the with his palm open air as the Konoha team eyes widened at those same hand seals, but Kakashi was confused. What is Naruto doing? Asked Kakashi as Kushina turned towards him with a worried look on her angelic face as she spoke, her tone fearful a little but mostly worried. It's a unknown lightning jutsu Naruto created that is S rank or maybe even higher. It's similar to your Chidori, but this is in a whole different league, said Kushina as Kakashi jaw dropped. What the hell are you lot standing there for? Kill that damn brat, shouted Gato as the thugs were too afraid to move. Suddenly the rain started to pick up and the sky started to change. They were confused as the sun was just out, so why was the cloud so gray? Kakashi looked up at the rain which started to pour down, but this rain didn't feel like regular rain, it was more heavier and dense as if it was chakra. Everyone was snapped from their thoughts when lightning started to be heard until a vicious thunderous roar that could be heard for hundreds of miles across the entire wave as Naruto just kept the lightning in his hand and turned to the rest of the thugs. An ear-splitting roar could be heard in the sky as the thugs looked up only to see something poking from the sky which looked to be a large reptilian head. Every single thug weapons dropped from their hand as they all fell to their knees, even Gato. Their hope was dead, they were going to die, they sure of it as they looked towards Naruto, whose eyes were colder than ice that was glaring at them with so much hate it sent chills down their spine as he spoke. Come to me, Kirin. Recap end. The lightning was dancing in the sky, the trees were rooted from the ground and tearing apart, the water under the bridge was rifting madly as Naruto held his hand into the sky which was connected like a long blade of lightning. Standing there, Naruto looked at Gato and his men with cold eyes, nothing but pure rage flowing inside them as he spoke. Gato, for your actions of today and the past you are not worthy for a quick death. I will make this painful as possible, and as for you thugs, you all are sentenced to death. Now begin with a thunderclap, said Naruto before doing something that shocked everyone. Team 7, as Naruto brought a literal dragon from the sky made of pure lightning. As the citizens of Wave and the shinobis of other villages looked at the beautiful but deadly dragon in nothing but awe and fear. Now die, Kirin, said Naruto before throwing his open palm down as the dragon fell from the sky with a screech of death, and in a blur it hit the bandits on the bridge, causing a bright light to come crashing down, making the entire bridge envelop in a blue light and a sonic boom. As the light cleared up, the thug's body couldn't even be seen, there was only ash that was left, and there was Gato with only one leg and one arm, and he was bleeding badly. Naruto slowly walked to Gato with his Sharingan blazing as Gato started crying in pain and tried to drag himself off the bridge. Gato looked up only to see Naruto with his blood-red eyes staring into his as he tried to beg. Please, I'll give you whatever you want, money, women, slaves, anything, just please don't kill me, shouted Gato as Naruto got into a thinking position as he finally spoke. I want two things. First, what is the combination to the vault in your safe? Demanded Naruto as Gato spoke quickly. Okay, it's 12XXX 232, said Gato as he looked towards Naruto with a pleading look. What is your second demand? Anything, just name it, said Gato as Naruto only smiled at him. Okay then, the next thing I want is your death, Amaterasu, said Naruto, but before Gato could say anything he was coated in black flames as he let out a spine-chilling scream as Naruto only stared at the burning man with nothing but pure loathing and disgust until the short man was nothing but dust. Naruto turned back to walk away as he suddenly heard cheering from the people of the wave as he let out a small smile before he met back up with his team, which he received hugs and multiple kisses on the face from the girls. Time skip. Several days later, the Konoha team man was preparing to leave, and as to everyone's shock, Naruto used Mokuton to repair the bridge, which was done. Naruto took everything from Gato's vault and gave it to Tsunami, who had become the new daimyo of Wave Village, which everyone agreed to it. As everything worked out and now it was time to go. Once again, I cannot thank you all enough for what you did for Wave, said Tazuna as the people of Wave bowed in respect as Inari looked like he was barley, able to restrain his tears at seeing Naruto leave. Tsunami on the other hand looked anxious for some reason as she took a deep breath and showed boldness before moving in and gave Naruto a kiss on his lips. Everyone's jaws dropped to the ground when they saw their daimyo kiss their hero as Inari and Tazuna gasped in shock while Narumi, Naruko, Kushina and Satsuki glared angrily and jealousy at Tsunami, and Kakashi started to giggle pervertedly. Tsunami and Naruto broke apart as he was smirking at Tsunami, who was blushing up a storm as Team 7 all turned to leave, but not before the girls started to glare at Naruto, who was looking the other way hoping to avoid the conflict as they left the country. What should we call the bridge, asked a male civilian in the crowd as Tazuna smiled brightly before responding. How about the Great Tazuna Bridge, said Tazuna happily before getting a smack upside the head by Tsunami, who had a smile on her face. How about we call it after our hero, the Great Naruto Bridge, said Tsunami as the villagers thought about it before they all cheered. Small time skip. Team 7 was hopping through trees on their way to Konoha, but they all stopped when Naruto spoke up with him still holding Latina. Hey, I'm not complaining or anything, but can we take a shorter way to Konoha, asked Naruto as they all twisted their heads in confusion. And how would we do that, Naruto asked Kakashi as Naruto smirked before going through hand signs. Bird, boar, dog, hare, horse, monkey, ox, ram, rat, serpent, tiger, dragon, summoning jutsu, shouted Naruto as there was a giant poof in the clearing. Everyone's jaws dropped when they saw a beautiful angelic albino dragon poofed into existence as Latina ran up, a huge dragon with stars in her eyes. Wow, so pretty, said Latina as the female dragon chuckled before petting the girl on the head with its tail. Hey Angelica, it's nice to see you again, said Naruto as the dragon looked down towards Naruto and smiled. Hello Naruto-kun, you have summoned me? Asked Angelica, her voice sounding like an angel to the others as she turned towards Naruto, who was smiling. Yeah, could you give us a lift to Konoha? It's a pretty long way, said Naruto as she nodded with a smile and told them to hop on well as the others cautiously got on except for Kushina, who was secretly scared of heights. I don't know about this Naruto-kun, not a big fan of heights, Yakuno, said Kushina as Naruto only gave her a smile before reaching down and grabbed her hand. Oh come on Kushi-chan, I promise you that it'll be fun, said Naruto before pulling her up onto the dragon as she was in his lap blushing furiously. Alright Angelica, we're all set, let's go, said Naruto as Angelica nodded before lifting from the ground and shooting off into the sky, causing Naruto and Latina to laugh and the rest of Team 7 in horror. Time skip. Team 7 finally arrived at the Hidden Leaf after a few hours of travel. Narumi, Naruko and Satsuki were planning on getting a food restaurant, planning on getting something to eat. As Naruto was planning on finding a house in Konoha since he had enough funds to do so from Gato hideout. Team 7 was amazed at the strength that Naruto showed in Wave. It was as if he was on a whole different level than them. They would have to increase their training to keep up with Naruto on the battlefield. Ever since Kakashi heard Naruto's explanation of his powers and witnessed the fight between the blonde and 2 of the 7 ninja swordsmen, Kakashi had been trying to put together the enigma that was Sensei's son. The sheer power Naruto possessed was ludicrous to begin with, but Naruto also had an analytical mindset in a fight, never tipping his hand until he knew it would give him the edge. Kakashi was easily handled by the blonde, but to see Naruto fight 2 S-class missing nin and come back victorious was something he would have to report to Minato. Naruto told Kakashi that he understood the Jonin's responsibility, though he wasn't exactly enthused by his father, knowing how strong he was. The group was currently flying their way to Konoha, as Naruto told them that he wanted to prank the villagers. Everyone in Konoha heard a loud roar as they looked up, they couldn't believe it. Some people in the crowd nearly crapped their pants when they saw the giant creature as they started to panic. The kids in the crowd couldn't hold themselves back and pissed their pants. Even some shinobis in the crowd fainted at seeing such display. The group made their way to the Hokage's office as Angelica landed on the tower as they got off of the tower. Thank you Angelica, I couldn't have done it without you, said Naruto as Angelica smiled. No problem Naruto-kun, it's been a while since I last been in the human world, so it was fun being back, said Angelica as Latina ran up to her before giving her a hug on the snout. Thank you pretty dragon lady, I had lots of fun rewinding, said Latina. She still couldn't use big words yet as Angelica tickled her with her tail, making Latina giggle as Angelica noticed something familiar about her, but couldn't figure it out. Strange daughter you have there Naruto-kun, she just too cute, said Angelica as Naruto smiled and thanked her. Okay, summon me again, but I'll see you around princess, haha, said Angelica before poofing away, causing Naruto to blush in embarrassment before he started to angrily yell at the smoke while the others were confused and Kushina couldn't help herself but giggle, making Naruto turn towards her with a mock glare. Scene change. Hokage office. Minato, Jiraiya and Tsunade were currently working on selecting applicants for the upcoming chunin exams. This year, Kumo, Suna, Kusa, Odo and Taki were all participating. The idea of a collective chunin exams excited Minato. He had been trying to patch up many of the wounds that decades of fighting had created between the village and finally was able to get Kumo to agree to new treaty talks that would take place during the chunin exams. Minato was hoping to have a strong showing this year from all his children and the clan heirs. He knew that all the new genin teams would want to get in on the action, so he was trying to get the exam schedule set up as quickly as possible. Tsunade was going over the applicants from Suna, Jiraiya was looking over the minor villages, and he was looking over the Kumo applicants. Among them was the team under the 8 Tails Jinchuriki, Killer B. Minato had a great respect for A and B. He hoped to build a relationship with the two that could help lead their 2 villages towards a lasting peace. Minato and the sennin were pulled from their thoughts as the door opened, revealing Shizune. She was followed by Team 7. Minato immediately stood up, as did Jiraiya and Tsunade. They were all happy that the team was back after their unexpectedly long mission. The only word they got from the team was a letter from Kakashi telling them that the team would be waiting until the bridge was completed, which could take around a month. It had been 3 weeks from that letter, so technically, Team 7 was back ahead of schedule. Minato smiled as he saw Naruto walk in with the rest of his team and stand in front of him ready for a report. He was curious what skills Naruto and his team displayed on the mission. They were poised to be strong contenders in the upcoming chunin exams and just needed a bit of experience under their belts. Naruto eyed his them analytically, trying to decide what he should share and what he shouldn't. His team had agreed to let him tell the story and he would decide what was to be shared and what was to be kept secret. The Kushina Kakashi and the genin Naruto all gave a respectful bow to the Hokage and his advisors. Jiraiya and Tsunade looked over the team, letting their gaze linger on their former grandson for a bit. Naruto, seeing that Tsunade was staring at him, winked at her before licking his lips and stared at her breast, causing her to blush before looking away. "Well," Minato started, "it's good to have you four back. I took it and things went well." Naruto and the others shared a look, giving Naruto the non-verbal cue to start the mission report. "Mission report," Naruto said boredly, "the bridge builder, Suna, has successfully completed the bridge connecting the land of fire to the land of waves. The Great Naruto Bridge, as they called it, is expected to exponentially increase the country's trade potential and should pay for itself within a few months. We have also been given trade terms for your eyes only, Hokage-sama." Kakashi approached the desk and placed a scroll down. He then fell back into his lineup and spoke. "Due to the unexpected challenges we faced on this mission, I am asking for this mission to get a bump in rank to S." Kakashi's words shocked everyone that wasn't on Team 7. Tsunade was the first one to speak. "Why? What happened?" Swan's voice was nearly dripping with worry as she peeked at Naruto, who was staring out the Hokage window. Kakashi gave a nod to Kushina, who then stepped forward to continue the report. "The first opposition we faced were the Demon Brothers, 2 B-rank missing nin from Kiri. We dispatched them immediately by catching them off guard. They have been killed and we have proof of elimination." Kushina reached into her bag and pulled out a storage scroll with a kajin for Demon Brothers on it. She then fell back into line as Naruto stepped forward. "The second group of enemies we faced were led by Zabuza Mamachi, the Demon of the Mist, S-rank missing nin and member of the 7 ninja swordsmen." Naruto's words stunned the 3 before him. They all looked like they had been slapped in the face, but Naruto fell back into line. Naruto stepped forward. "Naruto-kun engaged Zabuza-san and forced him away from us and separated him from the 7 other shinobi that were in his party. While Naruto-kun faced Zabuza-san, Kakashi fought the strongest of the second group, a young woman by the name of Hakuyuki. She is the lone survivor of the Yuki clan of Kiri and was proficient in Hyoten." Naruto's words continued the trend of shocking the Sannin and Hokage. They knew that bloodline users were hunted like animals in Kiri, so for someone so young to survive was nothing short of a miracle. Kakashi stepped up to recount the fight. "Haku-san was very skilled in ninjutsu. She even managed to trap me in her strongest technique, effectively negating my Chidori effect." Minato's eyes widened. It was a scary thing to imagine not just one, but 2 counters to the Hiraishin now existed. One was in his and Naruto's hands while the other was in a missing nin's. She was a dangerous opponent, but lacked the drive to kill and the experience to combat me. Me and Kushina-san allowed her to wear herself out and then decided to subdue her while she was on the verge of chakra exhaustion. Her strongest technique was a dome made completely of ice, separating me from the outside world and only being vulnerable from outside interference. The technique was broken when a stray attack from Naruto's battle hit the dome, freeing me and ending Haku's opposition. Minato, Jiraiya, and Tsunade expected nothing less from Kakashi and Kushina. They were of Konoha's best jonin. Kakashi then stepped back as Satsuki stepped up and stood next to Narumi. While Kakashi combated Haku-san, Narumi and I fought the other 6 chunin. Satsuki's words echoed in the room for a moment. "We were able to subdue 2 of them, but were kept on the defensive against the other 4. That is where Naruto-kun comes in," said Narumi. All eyes shifted to the Hokage's eldest as he sighed before he stepped forward and his teammates retreated. "I fought Zabuza using mostly my swords, to start. I wanted to test my skill against one of the best swordsmen in the world." Minato was about to snap at Naruto for being reckless, but Tsunade beat him to it. "Mamachi is one of the most dangerous shinobi in the world," the last Senju shouted in worry. SH didn't want him to get hurt as Naruto didn't even flinch. "You eyed. Do you know how hurt you could have gotten taking on that missing nin?" Tsunade shouted in worry as the rest of the people in the room was shocked at Tsunade's outburst. Naruto looked up at Tsunade, his eyes had a faint gold to them as he stopped holding back his chakra for a few seconds. The floor around him splintered and a vicious wind erupted from him. He aimed his chakra at the 3 standing in front of him. Tsunade, Minato, and Jiraiya had to cover their faces in defense. "You don't know a thing about me," Naruto said. The chakra they all felt skyrocketed. "Don't even think for a second that you know what I can and can't do." said Naruto seriously. Naruto calmed down, restricting his chakra and taking a deep breath. The tension in the room dropped noticeably as the adults decided that they should just let Naruto speak, for now. Anyways, I had the upper hand on Zabuza for a while. I learned in the fight that he is called the Demon of the Mist because the more damage he takes and the closer to death he gets, the stronger he becomes. Tsunade was still trying to recover from Naruto snapping at her, but Minato and Jiraiya thought about what Naruto said. They had both heard stories of the Demon of the Mist and cringed at the thought of Naruto facing him alone. I would have ended the fight sooner, but we had an unexpected interference. Minato looked up at Naruto and noticed the blonde was pulling something out of his pocket. Naruto walked forward and pulled out some of the shards that had broken off Samehada and placed them on the desk. The eyes of the Sennin and Hokage immediately went wide as they looked up at the blonde, recognizing the shards. Kisame Hoshigaki was apparently watching our fight and wanted to take part in it, so he attacked me and Zabuza, making the fight raise in scale. He said that he wanted Zabuza to join his group, but Mamachi declined. We began to incorporate ninjutsu, but Kisame had a near infinite amount of chakra. Naruto looked down at his hand. He decided to display the power that kept him alive. Team 7 looked away, knowing where Naruto was going with this, but Tsunade, Jiraiya, and Minato didn't. Naruto pulled his sleeve back and cut along his veins in his wrist. Tsunade ran up to him, keen on stopping the bleeding, but Naruto gently pushed her back. He then showed his wrist to everyone, just in time for them to see the wound steam and close. Tsunade backed away in shock, her hands trembling. Jiraiya was slack-jawed and Minato was wide-eyed. How? Tsunade asked desperately. Only the Senju could heal like that, but they had to use the metotic regeneration, which shortened their lifespan. Naruto turned to the Senju and gave her and glared at her. It's not your family's technique, so don't worry about it. Naruto then put his blade away and got a towel out of his bag to wipe down his arm. The Sennin and Hokage just watched in a mixture of awe, horror and confusion as Naruto cleaned up leftover blood. That ability was the thing that kept me alive in my fight with Zabuza and Kisame. I underestimated Zabuza and allowed him to get a few shots in. That ability isn't something I like to rely on. I still feel the pain of whatever injury I take, but that is nothing compared to the healing. Naruto looked up at his father, ignoring the two Sennin. He was curious about how his father would react. What are the limits of it? Minato seemed scared to find out the answer, but his curiosity got the better of him. I can completely regrow limbs and organs. Naruto's words were blunt, but Minato, Jiraiya, and Tsunade could barely fathom what they were hearing. Eventually, the two of them realized that they would have to deal with me first if either of them wanted to survive the fight, so they shifted their focus solely onto me. Naruto rolled his shoulder, letting out a few pops and groaned a bit. They forced me to my limit. Zabuza cut off my right arm and Kisame shattered my collarbone along with a few ribs in their assault. I had to release the other power I have in my body to deal with them. Naruto waited for the question. What power? Jiraiya almost whispered. Naruto extended each arm. In his right was a small ball of Kai and in his left was a small ball of aura. The black one is called Kai. It is the counterpart to the other, which is called aura. Naruto dispersed the energy and put his arms down. I've never heard of that power, Minato said as calmly as possible. That's because no one in history has ever been able to access it, Naruto said darkly, not wanting to give any hints about his power. Minato, Jiraiya, and Tsunade all had a chill run down their spine as a horrific potential crossed their mind. Minato tried to question Naruto a bit more. Naruto, how did you receive this power? Asked Minato as everyone turned towards Naruto, who sighed. He would have to tell them later eventually. During my training with the dragon summons, Ragnarok took me to a lake called the Divine Lake where it draws out a person's true potential, where I overstayed, and Naruto trailed off with an embarrassed blush as the others in the room waited for him to continue. As for the first time they saw Naruto blush. And, after that, what happened? Asked Minato, making Naruto sigh before he blushed in embarrassment as he turned towards Kushina, who looked to the left with her hand covering her mouth to stop her giggles. He then began to tell them about how his entire became pink and now his name in the dragon world is called Princess, which made everyone in the room burst into fits of laughter, making Naruto grow a tick mark as the laughter died down. Oh okay Naruto, but that still doesn't tell us how you can do all of these abilities, said Minato as Naruto once again sighed and muttered troublesome. He then dropped the bombshell on them all as he spoke. After staying in the Divine Lake for longer than 12 hours, my DNA began to bend and break until they were completely changed, said Naruto as everyone minus Kushina eyes went wide. So you mean we aren't related, said Minato as he stood from his desk in shock. Naruto only nodded as he sat down shooken up. Tsunade could only sigh in relief and was slightly happy. Well, you would do that if you have sex with your grandson. Alright, with that out of the way, may we continue, asked Naruto as Minato hesitantly nodded. So, what happened to Zabuza and Kisame? Tsunade asked, almost certain she already knew that answer. I pinned Zabuza to a boulder while I dealt with Kisame. The latter was in pretty bad shape when I was done with him. I know he is still alive. I reached my limit before I could finish him off. He won't be a problem for now. Naruto looked at the stunned expression on Sannin's face. Kisame Hoshigaki was on the level of a Biju when it came to chakra levels. For Naruto to defeat him as well as another dangerous opponent was a terrifying thought. Naruto was surprised by how calm his father was, at least on the outside. When Kisame showed up, the shinobi facing Narumi Naruko and Suki-chan ran. They feared what might happen if they got caught up in the fight. When everything was said and done, I talked to Haku-chan and Zabuza to figure out what they would do, Naruto said as Satsuki blushed at the name while Naruko and Narumi pouted in jealousy and again confused the Sennin and Minato. I gave them the option to return home and fight for the rebel leader, mate Terumi. Ragnarok and I met her while we traveled. They graciously accepted and should be there now. They won't be an issue anymore. Minato was surprised at the mercy his son showed. It was very non-shinobi-like to have such compassion for one's enemies. Why did you spare them, Naruto? Minato asked. People aren't always what we make them out as, Naruto thought about Ace, and how he was seen as a monster by his people for simply being born with a power they feared. Just because we think that someone is a monster or demon, doesn't mean we are right. That completes our mission report. Naruto's words echoed for a bit before he stepped back. Naruto then made his way to the exit, his team followed him, but gave the Hokage and Sannin a small bow before leaving. The Sannin and Hokage sat in silence for a few moments. Minato had been gripping his desk from the moment Naruto left. His grip was so strong that his fingers were indented into the wood. Jiraiya was trembling in fear, his mind moving 1,000 miles a minute. Swan was just as shaken. Me Minato, Jiraiya stuttered out, that couldn't mean. Tsunade let out a tear as she thought about how bad things could get in the near future. Minato only gripped his desk harder, knowing that everything they did very well might be for naught. Time skip. 2 months. Many things have happened over the last 2 months. Well, for Naruto on his part have moved away from the Namikaze Uzumaki Senju compound much to the displeasure of the family as they tried to persuade him stay, but he told them that he already purchased a condo at the most luxurious place in Konoha. As we go inside of Naruto's condo, Naruto woke up with Kushina laying on his chest. Ever since that day he left, she has been coming over more and more, taking her clothes with her, since Minato was always at the office. Kushina had gotten very comfortable with using Naruto's chest, using it as a pillow as he smiled down towards her. He had already forgiven them, well except Minato and Jiraiya. Naruto slouched over and kissed Kushina's forehead lightly and created a shadow clone to substitute himself out of bed as he left to go do some workout training. Couple hours later, Naruto was going back to his home after an intense workout training session until his eyes met a kid being lifted off of the ground by his collar as he recognized the kid before rushing off. Scene change. Hey, put me down, someone yelled nearby as Team 7 turned their heads to see a person who looked like a clown, along with a girl with a fan on her back, holding a young boy by his shirt. The girl's outfit consisted of a single light purple-colored, off-the-shoulders garment that extended to halfway down her thighs, with a scarlet sash tied around her waist. In addition to incorporating fishnet worn over her shoulders and legs, specifically on her right calf and her left thigh, she also wore her black forehead protector around her neck. The clown person was wearing a black baggy full bodysuit with a red and yellow circle on the front. They were also wearing a black hood which covered his head completely and had cat-like ears with his hair down into the fabric of the hood. Kankuro, put the damn kid down and don't get us in trouble already. We aren't in Suna anymore after all, the girl said to the clown boy. Well, at least one of them is reasonable, she is really pretty too. Thought Naruto with a small smile on his face. Shut it, Temari. I'm going to teach this brat to respect his superiors. Kankuro said as he raised his fist at the kid but stopped as a rock hit him in the throat, making him drop Konohamaru and grab his now sore throat. Everyone turned their head to see Naruto coming towards them, with Naruto just putting his hand down from throwing the rock. Wow, a local hottie came to show up. I wonder if I can get a tour from the blonde though. Temari thinks with a large blush while looking at Naruto. Bastard, making me look bad, I'll teach him. Kankuro thought angrily. Now Ko, what did I tell you about talking to strange people in cat costumes? Naruto asked in a mockingly serious tone, making the girls start laughing, while Kankuro fumed. Not to, because they could turn out to be some kind of child molester. Konohamaru answered with a downcast tone, making them all laugh even harder, and Kankuro got even angrier. I'm not a child molester. Kankuro yelled at them, making them burst out in an uncontrollable laughter. Ma'am, calm down, you are making a scene, said Naruto in a flat tone, making Temari once again burst into laughter as Kankuro looked at Naruto with murder in his eyes. I'm not a girl, you douse bag, said Kankuro, making Naruto eyes widen slightly. Then why the hell are you wearing a cat suit and makeup? Wait. Oh, are you gay? Asked Naruto, causing the kids and Temari to laugh like mannequins while Kankuro grew more angry. But no, and why does everyone keep saying that it's a battle suit and war paint, yelled Kankuro with an embarrassed blush on his face while glaring at Naruto. Whatever floats your boat, said Naruto nonchalantly, causing Kankuro's eye to twitch violently. He reached towards his back, but before he could do that someone cut him off. Kankuro, stop this nonsense at once. You're a disgrace to Suna, the boy said stoically to Kankuro, and he suddenly flinched while Temari paled a bit. But Gaara, he started Kankuro but was cut off by Gaara. Shut up or I'll kill you, Gaara said to him manically. The Suna kid then shunshined in a burst of sand only to appear between his two teammates. Something's off about that red-haired guy, his presence feels off, thought Naruto as he looked at the red-haired boy. You interest me, what is your name? Asked Gaara, making Naruto turn his head in confusion until he took a couple of steps back. Sorry buddy, but I don't swing that way, said Naruto as he saw that the boy didn't flinch or get a reaction out of him as he sighed. Well, the name's Naruto Strife, nice to meet you, said Naruto with a friendly smile, causing Temari to blush a storm. My name is Sabaku no Gaara. Sorry for the trouble, my brother is a fool. Gaara stated simply as he turned around and began to leave. His teammates began to follow, but Temari looked back at Naruto with a large blush on her face before turning to. I would like to know your name too actually, never get to see women like you so beautiful, said Naruto with a charming smile on his face as she turned beet red before responding. Score, I'm Temari no Sabaku. She said while looking away from him, trying to hide her blush. Wait, Naruto Strife. You're in the bingo book under the alias of Arashi Ryu no Konoha. AKA, the Storm Dragon of Konoha. She was shocked, but she also blushed some more as she had read some good things about the blonde. Yeah, I guess that's me, although I haven't read the bingo book before. He said calmly, although I would like to talk to Gaara about something personal if that is okay. He asks, getting suspicious looks from the team. I would like for you three to come with me and my friends, as what I wish to speak with you all about isn't something I want many others to hear. Naruto invited. Gaara simply nodded as he followed Naruto to where he was going. Kankuro and Temari, though confused by Gaara's actions, followed along to where the blonde was leading them. After a while, the six of them found themselves at a deserted training ground with no one else in sight or in hearing range. Naruto made sure that they were the only ones in the area before he started the conversation. Gaara, Naruto started as he looked straight at Gaara, your seal that binds whatever demon you hold within you, I wish to see it. Those words shocked and stunned even Gaara, along with Temari and Kankuro, who were now looking at the blonde boy a little worriedly. They couldn't understand how Naruto knew that Gaara was the carrier of Shukaku. Gaara, not one to just do as anyone tells him to do. How do you know that I contain Shukaku? Asked Gaara, staring at Naruto with a little of shock. This hot eye can detect Bijuous, Temari thought in slight shock. What did he mean when he said used to be like him? Was he a Jinchuriki too? Who the hell is he? She thought to herself in worry, although the blonde seemed perfectly normal to her. This could be big trouble, Kankuro thought as he looked at Naruto cautiously. This Naruto guy is clearly more than he appears to be. The plan can be ruined if he. Though I'm surprised that you know what Bijuou I carry. However, Gaara spoke unknowingly, cutting off Kankuro's train of thoughts. For what purpose should I show you my seal? I wish to examine it if you will. I think it would be a weak seal if the vibes I'm getting are anything to go by. Naruto replied calmly. You remind me of myself, said Naruto as Gaara stared at him emotionless, but deep inside his eyes you could see the twinge of hope. Gaara nodded to him as he did just give up a huge secret, and so he raised his shirt to show Naruto the seal that contained Shukaku. Naruto then went over to Gaara and carefully looked the seal over. Well, this looks like crap, it is unquestionably flawed. The person who performed the sealing was not a true seal master, or they wanted to make it like this. Naruto thought to himself as he had become quite good at sealing techniques while working with the dragons. It'll take some time for me to fix this seal, but it can be repaired and made to work more effectively. Naruto nodded at Gaara, and he placed his shirt back down as he faced Naruto. That seal was poorly designed, Naruto informed them. That person who sealed Shukaku into you was not a true seal master, either that or they intended the seal to be that way. From the condition of your eyes, it's clear that you're an insomniac, yes? Gaara stayed quiet as he nodded to the blonde, and a moment later Gaara spoke. Is it possible for you to help me as well? Asked Gaara. I won't release the Shukaku from you if that is what you're asking, but I will help you to fix the seal though. He said, getting a somewhat happy nod from Gaara as he hated the Shukaku. I hope he can free me of this demon's yelling at me, I want to sleep and be happy again. Gaara thought to himself in hope, ignoring his tenants yelling. This kid is really something, Temari thought as she looked at Naruto with a blush, wondering whether or not to believe what she was seeing with her eyes. I never met anyone who was able to hold a conversation with Gaara without having their lives threatened or them just being killed on the spot. I really hope that Gaara doesn't kill him, he just seems so nice and interesting. Your seal needs quite a bit of work, although I think I could fix it without too much trouble. Naruto continued calmly, getting some hesitant nods from Temari and Kankuro, but a hopeful one from Gaara. Although Gaara did look at him a little skeptically, how can that be so easy to you? Are you a seal master? Not yet officially, Naruto admitted easily, however, I am one of the most skilled seal experts in this village besides Jiraiya of the Sennin and the Hokage. He told them, getting wide-eyed looks from each of them as they knew Fuinjutsu is highly complicated. This could ruin our invasion plans, though Kankuro thought to himself, not knowing that Temari was thinking along the same lines. Well, I really don't want to participate in the invasion anyway. Not while this hot eye is living here at least. Temari thought while blushing at Naruto, not seeing Kankuro looking at her and smirking a bit. Ara was just quiet as he thought about just what Naruto was offering to him. I really hope he isn't lying to me like the kids in Suna, but he was like me, so I don't think he would do that. I don't know why, but I feel like I can trust him. I would like for you and your siblings to meet me at my house tomorrow morning for the procedure, Naruto said. I need to talk to the Hokage before and tell him what I plan before we begin, although I will still go through with the sealing, even if he says I can't. Naruto finished with a smirk, once again getting shocked looks from the three and some smiles from his teammates. You would go against your Hokage just to help me? Gaara questioned, beginning to get confused at that. Why? Because I already told you, I know that my life was not like yours. I lived through neglection from my parents. Even though I had people that I could only count on one hand, Gaara, I know the feeling of loneliness, said Naruto softly with a warm smile as Gaara was shocked. His siblings didn't expect for him to move off towards Naruto, as before they could say anything Naruto was hugging Gaara tightly, who was now crying. Thank you, Naruto-san, said Gaara as Naruto hugged him back. I want to be like him. I want to be as strong as he is and have friends as loyal as the ones he has. I'm going to start right when we return home and I will prove to them that I can change. Gaara thought to himself. I think I'm in love. Temari thought to herself with a dreamy look on her face and a blush looking at her Naruto warm smile. I accept, Gaara replied instantly as he broke away. I will meet you at your home tomorrow with my siblings as well. Excellent. I'll leave now to discuss and have everything arranged with the Hokage, said Naruto, ruffling Gaara hair, causing the boy to smile, and with that Naruto shunshined away, leaving the Sunanins to their thoughts. What do you suppose Baki-sensei and father are going to say about this? Kankuro asked, although he was happy that his brother's seal would be fixed. I doubt they'll approve of your decision considering the alliance we have with Itagikur no Sato, Temari said, but she was happier that her family would be back to normal and happy again. Gaara looked at his siblings with a somewhat happy smile, which caused Temari and Kankuro to smile too and wonder just how he could change so much from just meeting the blonde. We will return later to inform Baki-sensei about what Naruto is offering me, seeing how what he told me sounded most appealing to me, Gaara stated, not losing his grin. I would like to be able to sleep for once without worrying about Shukaku waking up and seeking to take over my mind and body. Gaara turned and started walking off with Temari and Kankuro happily following from a short distance behind him. After a few minutes, Gaara stopped again with his back facing the two older Sunanins. Temari, Kankuro, Gaara said, instantly grabbing their attention. Do not participate in this foolish invasion. Suna is planning with Odo. Should Naruto successfully fulfill his promise to repair my seal and make it more effective in containing Shukaku, as payment I will tell him and the Hokage everything about the invasion Suna is planning to do with Odo against Konoha, said Gaara as they smiled. They finally gotten their brother back. Time skip. Chapter 12. Chunin Exams Part 2. Recap. Gaara was just quiet as he thought about just what Naruto was offering to him. I really hope he isn't lying to me like the kids in Suna, but he was like me, so I don't think he would do that. I don't know why, but I feel like I can trust him. I would like for you and your siblings to meet me at my house tomorrow morning for the procedure, Naruto said. I need to talk to the Hokage before and tell him what I plan before we begin, although I will still go through with the sealing, even if he says I can't. Naruto finished with a smirk, once again getting shocked looks from the three and some smiles from his teammates. You would go against your Hokage just to help me? Gaara questioned, beginning to get confused at that. Why? Because I already told you, I know that my life was not like yours. I lived through neglection from my parents. Even though I had people that I could only count on one hand, Gaara, I know the feeling of loneliness, said Naruto softly with a warm smile as Gaara was shocked. His siblings didn't expect for him to move off towards Naruto, as before they could say anything Naruto was hugging Gaara tightly, who was now crying. Thank you, Naruto-san, said Gaara as Naruto hugged him back. I want to be like him. I want to be as strong as he is and have friends as loyal as the ones he has. I'm going to start right when we return home and I will prove to them that I can change. Gaara thought to himself. I think I'm in love. Temari thought to herself with a dreamy look on her face and a blush looking at her Naruto warm smile. I accept, Gaara replied instantly as he broke away. I will meet you at your home tomorrow with my siblings as well. Excellent. I'll leave now to discuss and have everything arranged with the Hokage, said Naruto, ruffling Gaara hair, causing the boy to smile, and with that Naruto shunshined away, leaving the Sunanins to their thoughts. What do you suppose Baki-sensei and father are going to say about this? Kankuro asked, although he was happy that his brother's seal would be fixed. I doubt they'll approve of your decision considering the alliance we have with Otogakur no Sato. Tamari said, but she was happier that her family would be back to normal and happy again. Ara looked at his siblings with a somewhat happy smile which caused Tamari and Kankuro to smile too and wonder just how he could change so much from just meeting the blonde. We will return later to inform Baki-sensei about what Naruto is offering me, seeing how what he told me sounded most appealing to me, Gaara stated, not losing his grin. I would like to be able to sleep for once without worrying about Shukaku waking up and seeking to take over my mind and body. Gaara turned and started walking off with Tamari and Kankuro happily following from a short distance behind him. After a few minutes, Gaara stopped again with his back facing the two older Sunanins. Tamari, Kankuro, Gaara said, instantly grabbing their attention, do not participate in this foolish invasion, Suna is planning with Odo. Should Naruto successfully fulfill his promise to repair my seal and make it more effective in containing Shukaku, as payment I will tell him and the Hokage everything about the invasion Suna is planning to do with Odo against Konoha, said Gaara as they smiled. They finally gotten their brother back. Time skip, repend. The genins of Team 7 were now walking through the halls of the building that, according to their senseis, will held the first part of the chunin exams. Of course all 4 of the genins had accepted entering the chunin exams without a doubt. This was their chance to not only prove themselves, but it was also the opportunity to face people from other village. After walking for a few moments, the genins of Team 7 reached an interesting sight. A rather big group of other genins trying to enter a door that was guarded by 2 other guys. The situation became even more hectic when one guy, who was wearing an impressive amount of green, was hit by one of the guys. As soon as the boy touched the floor, a girl, which Naruto guessed was part of his team, kneeled beside him in order to help. The reason for the situation became obvious when Naruto saw the number over the door, the 2 guys. According to that number, this was the door 301. According to what Naruto knew, the room in which the first part of this exam was going to be held was the door 301, but this was not the 3rd floor, and all the other rooms in this floor had a number with 200 on it. A rather weak ninjutsu, thought Naruto, while looking at the scene in front of him with amusement. This would be a good way to filter those that could become chunin from those that couldn't even see through such a simple trick. Naruto was not the only one that saw it from his team though, and it became apparent to him, Naruto, Satsuki and Narumi. Sasuke gave a step forward. Already guessing what they were about to do, Naruto reached and put a hand on Sasuke's head, stopping her on her tracks. When she looked back at her blonde friend, Naruto just gave her a lady killer smile, making her blush, but not an acceptance. Naruto and Narumi followed with jealous looks that their Ani-chan wa being taken away by Satsuki. Since their attention was on how to get past the 2 guys that were guarding the door, more than one person actually noticed them. Once they reached the next floor, they got to one big room. There was nothing really interesting on this room, so the members of Team 7 simply kept walking towards the other side of the room, in which another hall was. Wait, however, they were stopped by a rather loud voice coming from behind them, which of course made them turn around to find a group of people coming over to them, with the one who yelled at them actually running. This person was the same green wearing guy from before, but now that he had stopped just in front of Menma, Naruto got a good look at him. This guy had very thick eyebrows and large rounded black eyes with prominent lower eyelashes, and his hair was cut and styled into a bowl cut style, giving him one weird look. His attire consisted of a green jumpsuit, orange leg warmers, and his red forehead protector was being worn as a belt. He also had bandages around his hands and wrist, which Naruto noted were quite worn out. "Your strife, Naruto, am I right?" asked the green-wearing guy with an excited voice, which got Naruto to look confused for a second and decided to play around a little. "No, you are mistaken. My name is Kiba Inuzaka," answered Naruto dead serious, but if you would listen closely, you could hear the playfulness in his tone a little. He was sorta freaked out by the guy's appearance and was almost tempted to touch those eyebrows to confirm if they were real or just some drawings. Keyword. Almost. "Wait, I thought that you were Naruto-kun?" asked Lee as Naruto shook his head no and put a hand on his shoulder as tears came to Naruto's eyes. "I wish that I was Naruto as well, but Naruto is just way too manly and handsome, which no other man can be," said Naruto with comical tears in his eyes as Lee started to do the same. "I've never thought of it that way, Kiba-kun. Maybe no one can be like Naruto-kun," said Lee as oceans of tears started to pour out of his eyes. The girls just looked at this with amusement in their eyes and couldn't help but giggle. "I'm truly sorry, Lee, if you are looking for Naruto strife, then he has brown hair with red fangs on the side of his cheek. He also would like to challenge people to fights, so when you see him don't even hesitate to attack," said Naruto with a smile, holding himself back from laughing as Lee just nodded in thanks before he ran off fight Kiba. Naruto couldn't take it anymore as he bursted out laughing while rolling on the floor. The girls couldn't help it either as they started to giggle uncontrollably. It wasn't their fault, Naruto's laugh was just so contagious. Time skip. 301 hallway. Team 7 just made their way to the room, but before they could open it, a voice behind them stopped them. Yo, said Kakashi behind them, which made them startled a bit as they turned towards Kakashi with small glares which made him jump a bit. Well, we were just passing by and wanted to tell you all to do your best and be safe, said Kushina as she smiled at her children while looking at the corner of her eye to see Naruto giving her a small smile which made her heart flutter. The genin nodded, but before they could enter Kushina called Naruto out. Naruto, could I speak to you alone, said Kushina gesturing for Kakashi to leave, which he shrugged and pulled out his Icha book and disappeared. Seeing that the coast is clear, Kushina ran up towards Naruto and wasted no time by capturing her lips with his as he returned it. Naruto picked Kushina up by her butt, making her yelp in excitement as she wrapped her legs around him, both of them deepening the kiss, but after a few minutes they broke apart, leaving a saliva trail. Be safe in there, Naruto-kun, and if you pass I'll even give you a little reward, said Kushina seductively as Naruto smirked before smacking her ass, making her moan. Don't worry, because after this is over I'm going to making you scream my name in pure bliss and ECSTACY, said Naruto whispering seductively in her ear, causing a shiver to go down her spine. But the final kiss, Naruto went inside of the room as everyone turned their attention on him and bloodlust. The girls inside of the room immediately blushed when they saw his handsome face as Naruto had a bored expression on his face before he unleashed a bit of his killing intent and gave them a death stare. And what the hell are you all looking at? Asked Naruto coldly as the guys in the room quickly turned their heads, while the girls blushed even harder as he sighed before going over towards his team. The next team that came inside of the room was Team 10 with Shikamaru Nara, Choji Akimichi, and Ino Yamanaka, who kept trying to get closer to Naruto, much to the ire of the girls on his team. Sakura on the other hand was glaring at Naruto, thinking that her Kiba-kun was far stronger and cooler. Naruto, Shikamaru and Choji was talking until everyone heard angry shouts. The door suddenly burst open, revealing a badly beaten up Kiba who was limping and had multiple bruises ranging from his head to his toe and had his clothes torn out of places, and to make it even more funny, he had a black eye with the size of a fist as he was glaring at Naruto with a burning passion. You son of a bitch, look at what the green bastard did to me, shouted Kiba in rage as he was damaged badly and was beaten. Naruto turned the other way to stifle a laughter which caused the boy to get pissed off even more. Kiba, keep it down, you're drawing attention to us, said Hinata as she stared at Naruto for a bit until he turned to her and gave her a smile which made her blush and turn the other way. She's right, you all should keep it down, you guys are making unnecessary noise, said a silver-haired genin as they all turned towards him. Naruto narrowed his eyes. Not to be rude, but who are you? Asked Ino as the silver-haired genin simply angled up his glasses before he spoke. Right, my name is Ikushi Kabuto and I just came to warn you that you're making targets of yourself, but I guess you can't help not knowing how things work in the chunin exam, since you're rookies. Kabuto said good-naturedly. So this isn't your first time taking this exam? Sakura asked. No, actually this is my 7th time. Kabuto replied with some embarrassment. So does that mean that you're something of an expert on the chunin exam? Sakura asked, hoping to get some useful information out of the silver-haired teenager. You could say that. He responded as she only nodded. Some expert if he's failed 7 times. Shikamaru grumbled. Well, I haven't been completely wasting my time since I've collected quite a lot of information on my nin info cards. Kabuto countered. Nin info cards? What kind of information do you have? Sakura asked. All sorts of things, such as which countries are participating and how many genin they sent. Kabuto said and activated the first card in his stack to demonstrate. This year we have some pretty stiff competition. Konoha has the most teams in the exam, followed by Suna, Taki, Kusa, AIM and finally just the one team from Odo. It's not surprising that Otogakur sent only one team since they're a new hidden village. Do you have any information on individuals? Kiba asked, suddenly interested. Why yes, I do. If you tell me something about whoever you're interested in, then I can see if I have anything on them. Kabuto confirmed. Rock Lee of Konoha, Sabaku no Gaara of Suna and Uzumaki Naruto of Konoha. Sasuke stated. Holy shit Kiba, not one girl. I didn't know you swing that way, Naruto mocked, causing some of the genin in the room to chuckle while Kiba clenched his fist. I like girls, you asshole, and I bet that you don't even get any ladies. Mocked Kiba as Naruto only chuckled in response. Yep, keep telling yourself that, said Naruto, but before Kiba could respond he was cut off by Kabuto. Alright, I've got the cards you asked for. Kabuto said, calling attention to himself again. Rock Lee graduated the year before you, his teammates are Tenten and Hyuga Niji, team leader is Mito Guy. He has completed 45 D ranks and 23 C ranks. His performance in the academy was pretty terrible, tied for dead last actually, but he's become very capable in the past year. His skill with Taijutsu is very high, but he doesn't know anything at all about ninjutsu or jinjutsu. Next up, Sabaku no Gaara. Since he's not from Konoha I don't know much about his skills, but I do know that his teammates are his older siblings Tamari and Kankuro, and their team leader is Baki. I don't know this for sure, but his team has supposedly been on a B rank mission already, and that he has returned from every mission without so much as a scratch, said Kabuto as Naruto looked over towards Gaara and gave him a proud smile which made Gaara smile brightly and nod back. Everyone was quite surprised to hear this, as genin weren't supposed to be given B rank missions, and for a genin to never get even scratched was remarkable. Alright, and lastly, what the hell? Said Kabuto as everyone except for Naruto wondered what happened as he continued. Naruto strife, he arrived on the final day of the graduation exams and scored a score higher than the 4th Hokage. His teammates are Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, Narumi Uzumaki Namikaze and Satsuki Ichiya. His team leaders are Kushina Uzumaki Namikaze and Kakashi Haddock. He has completed 70 D ranks, 13 C ranks and 2 A ranks, Kabuto said, shocking them all except Naruto, but he still continued. No way. It says that his first C rank mission turned A rank where he alone fought 2 S rank ninjas, Zabuza Mamachi and Kisame Hoshigaki, and came out on top all the while saving an entire village from a tyrant known as Gato, said Kabuto as everyone was now looking at Naruto in complete awe and fear. Kabuto continued. Holy cow. And it said that his Taijutsu is at low sennin, and ninjutsu is at mid kage, Kenjutsu I is at low kage, and his Genjutsu is still unknown. He is also listed in the bingo book as an A rank nin called the Lightning Dragon of Konoha, finished Kabuto as they looked at Naruto with amazement. It was so quiet that you could hear a senbon drop. But why is everyone looking at me for? Asked Naruto as everyone looked at him dumbfounded before Kiba spoke. What the hell do you mean, why is everyone looking at you like that, yelled Kiba in a mix of awe and jealously, making Naruto shrug. They were all cut out of their thoughts when a poof of smoke entered the classroom, which in return stood a man around 5'11" in height, stood as he glared at them all. Alright maggot, sit down and shut the hell up because the real test begins now, said the man with a cruel smirk as he looked around the classroom until they landed on a mop of blonde hair which made his eyes widen before they turned into a slight glare. Naruto turned to the man before he smirked and mouthed the words off. You should have folded Ibiki, taunted Naruto as Ibiki tossed a slight glare at Naruto before he turning back to the genin grumbling about stupid poker games and cheater blondes. Soon all the genin were seated down and Ibiki started to speak once again. Okay, now here are the rules. This test grade has a point system with each question is 1 point. If you get one wrong you lose a point, and if you are caught cheating, then you lose 2 points. This test will also depend on your teammates and your questions must meet the standard requirements, stated Ibiki. Naruto, Naruko, Narumi and Satsuki looked towards each other before nodding at one another, wishing them good luck on the test. Naruto smiled and gave a smile towards them, making the trio girls blush as they felt a sense of warmness rush through their hearts. Naruto looked over towards his right where he saw Hinata sitting there with a blush on her face while glancing towards Naruto and back to the floor. Naruto noticed that she was quite nervous as he smiled towards her before putting a hand on her head, ruffling it, making her blush even redder. Do your best on the test, Hinata-chan, said Naruto, causing the girl to nod and smile. She felt her confidence increase trying to ignore the blush on her face. Thank you, Naruto-kun, said Hinata, causing him to smile even brighter. They were snapped out of their thoughts when Biki started to speak. Now, begin, said Ibiki as the genin started to quickly write down answers. Naruto looked down at the papers only to find that the questions were way too hard for genin to answer. He could easily answer these questions, but there was another meaning behind this test. As Naruto looked around the room, he found that his suspicions were correct. Satsuki was using her Sharingan to look at the answers from other participants. Hinata was activating her Byakugan. Naruto was using her chakra chains as kunai to see the reflection of others. Naruto smirked before looking down at his paper. He just figured out the answer. So that's the real meaning of the test. You have to infiltrate the opponents using stealth without getting caught, thought Naruto before lazily answering the questions. Time skip. 1 hour later. Okay, now for the 10th question. This depends on your answer with a few more rules. If you answer this question incorrectly, you and your team will automatically fail and never be able to take the exam again, said Ibiki. This caused Kiba to stand up in anger. That is some bullshit. There are many genin here that were here from last year. Kibi shouted, making Naruto sigh in annoyance. Too bad, they were lucky enough that they didn't have me. This is my classroom and my rules are law here. Got it, puppy, said Ibiki as he continued. But I will be nice. If you don't want to answer this question, then you can quit and will be able to take the exam again. Now for those of you who don't want to take the 10th question, raise your hand now, said Ibiki. Many hands rose up in the air in silence as various ninja and their teams failed due to their fear. When Naruto noticed that the room was almost empty, he started to laugh, making Ibiki look at him. What is so funny, Strife? Ibiki asked, causing Naruto to turn towards him with an amused look on his face. Naruto replied, the fact that you fooled the idiots who left about being able to ban them from the exams. You used the fear and caused turmoil in their minds to torture themselves. No wonder, you were dubbed as the mind bucker, but I don't think it is going to work on us, we are smarter than that. This kid, he is very smart to catch on, and with his words, he diffused the atmosphere I just created. Ibiki thought with an evil smirk. Just for that strife you have just sealed this room's fate. As a result, you all passed the first part of the exam," said Ibiki, causing everyone to be confused. "What? What about the questions, and what was the point of the 10th question?" Sakura asked as Ibiki replied with a smirk. "You can say that the decision to stay or leave was the last question. The other 9 questions were there to test your information gathering skills. You had to cheat in order to pass, so there were 3 chunin disguised as genin in the room with the correct answers. Those of you who cheated poorly were eliminated and the team suffered. Sometimes, information is more valuable than life itself. People risk their lives on missions, and certain information can be the difference between life and death. People will do anything to acquire it," stated Ibiki before untying the headband from around his head, causing some of them to wince and Naruto to whistle. He revealed the scars in his head. "You must be vigilant if the enemy happens to capture you and endure any pain," stated Ibiki before continuing. "It was a trick question, the tool was to survive in this day society. The most important rule is respect," started Ibiki, but before he could finish his speech, he was interrupted by Naruto. "Ah, gayy," said Naruto with a smirk, causing some of the others to snicker, while some giggled, making Ibiki eye twitch. After a few moments of snickering and giggling, Ibiki continued with a twitching eyebrow. "Now, as I was saying before, I was rudely interrupted." He was again cut off as a giant wrecking ball smashed into the window. "Ah. God. Damn it," Anko yelled at Ibiki, who was looking at Anko with a sheepish grin on her angelic face as she spoke. Sorry Ibiki, am I too soon?" asked Anko as Ibiki gave her a blank stare before he sighed. "I'm getting too old for this shit," thought Ibiki with a sigh. Scene change. Konoha Hot Springs. Somewhere in Konoha Hot Springs, an old man with a goatee and a pipe in his mouth sneezed violently as an orange book flew out of his hands, landing deep into the steaming water as he sniffed. "Someone must be thinking about me," thought Hiruzen as he looked down to where his weight. Hiruzen looked around frantically for his book before he turned to see his precious Icha book drowning. Time stopped for Hiruzen as he closed his eyes and took in a deep breath. Ooh. Scene change. Back to academy. What the hell was that?" asked Naruto, breaking the silence in the room as he saw Anko shrug with a big grin on her face. Anko disappeared from the genin eyes and appeared on Naruto's lap, making him smile as she had a huge smirk on her face. "Hey Anko, how are feeling after said Naruto seductively, causing most of the male genin, especially Kiba, jaw to drop and the girls to glare at Anko, mostly his teammates. Anko giggled and licked his cheek with a small blush on her face. "Well, I have to admit that was one of the most best and hottest nights of my life, especially for how long we went," stated Anko as the boys in room Gara shot back with nosebleeds, while the girl Sakura fumed. "I enjoyed that night as well, because who wouldn't while having a goddess in your bed while she's streaming your name in ecstasy and pleasure. You know Anko-chan, if we were the only people in this classroom I would just take you Rai said Naruto seductively, making every single girl in the classroom panties wet and the boys to go green with jealousy, especially Kiba, while Anko was blushing madly with a perverted grin on her face. "So what's stopping you, big boy? I'm sure as hell isn't," said Anko seductively, grinding on Naruto's lap as he flickered her on the head. "Because we're in the middle of a test," said Naruto as he chuckled, causing her to sigh in annoyance before getting out of Naruto's lap and back by a slightly blushing Ibiki. "Now everyone to the training ground 44, be there in 20 minutes or you fail. Go," said Anko as the genin started to leave the room while Naruto walked over to the girls who were pouting. "What?" asked Naruto as the girls turned their head away with pouts on their face as Naruto sighed before planting a kiss on each of their cheek, causing them to blush bright red. "They're so now can we go?" asked Naruto as they blushed bright red and nodded, making Naruto chuckle at their innocence. "Now, put your hands on my shoulder," said Naruto as they did. Naruto put his hands into a tiger seal, and to everyone's surprise, he disappeared in a lightning body flicker, making their eyes widen once again. Scene change. Behind the board. After hearing what Anko said, this set of a chain of reactions, Asuma almost choked on his cigarette which had landed in a random chunin hair whose jaw was dropped. Kakashi was giggling like an idiot with the biggest grin on his face with pure pride. Kurenai had a massive blush on her face at hearing her friend activities. Everyone suddenly gulped and backed away from Kushina, who had murder in her eyes that betrayed the creepy smile on her face with the blood-red sword in her hand. Most of the men shook in fear, while the women silently prayed for the snake mistress whose death was very near. Time skip. Training ground 44, also known as the Forest of Death. It's Konoha's deadliest training ground, reserved only for chunins and anbu. The forest itself contains various monster and other deadly animals from big spiders to gigantic bears and tigers. The Forest of Death is the traditional place for second round of every chunin exam done in the leaf. The chunin exams are hosted in various countries and rotated. Every 3 years the chunins happen in the leaf. To everyone in Konoha, the Forest of Death, as the name says, it's hell and one place too don't come near. Obviously this doesn't apply to the crazy snake lady, also known as Anko, to her this place is her home away from home and the reason she is always in charge of the second round. Of the original 200 applicants to the chunin exams, more than half were failed in the first task. Now we are currently at the entrance of the Forest of Death. Training Ground 44, also known as the Forest of Death. It's Konoha's deadliest training ground reserved only for chunins and anbu. The forest itself contains various monster and other deadly animals from big spiders to gigantic bears and tigers. The Forest of Death is the traditional place for second round of every chunin exam done in the leaf. The chunin exams are hosted in various countries and rotated. Every 3 years the chunins happen in the leaf. To everyone in Konoha, the Forest of Death, as the name says, it's hell in one place too, don't come near. Obviously this doesn't apply to the crazy snake lady, also known as Anko, to her this place is her home away from home and the reason she is always in charge of the second round. Of the original 200 applicants to the chunin exams, more than half were failed in the first task. Now we are currently at the entrance of the Forest of Death. Alright maggots, welcome to my home, Training Ground 44, also known as the Forest of Death, Anko said, as she got the desired reactions from a few of the genin, which was fear as they should be. Even chunin can't wander through the forest without getting hurt. Naruto activated his Mangekyo Sharingan, which had a Jinjutsu over them, and looked around the forest as he thought. I can feel the amounts of wildlife around here, and there are more than it was last time I visited, thought Naruto with narrowed eyes. Something was very wrong. Anko spotted Naruto and noticed he wasn't affected and decided to play a little game. Anko threw a kunai that was going to slightly cut his cheek, however the kunai slowly shifted as Naruto's back was turned around. Anko's eyes widened along with the others who saw this. And to everyone's utter shock the kunai simply phased through Naruto and hit the ground. Everyone looked at him with wide eyes. Naruto got a worried look and very quickly in a panic began checking himself with his hands to see if he was in one piece. "You oh good, I am not a ghost," said Naruto and smirked when he saw everyone looks of disbelief. Anko vanished in a blur and appeared behind Naruto with a kunai at his neck. "You seem confident. You better not die in the forest, Naruto-kun, I just wouldn't know what to do with myself," Anko said, pressing her body against his back and licking his cheek making him smirk. "Don't worry about me dying anytime soon, Anko-chan, because when I get out of this forest, you won't be able to walk for the entire day," said Naruto seductively, causing a shiver of pleasure to run down her spine as she backed away. "Alright brats, let me explain how this works. See these?" Anko started and showed everyone 2 scrolls she had on her hands. "These are the Earth and Heaven scrolls. Each team gets one. In order to pass this exam you must get the other and reach the tower which is located in the middle of the forest. You have 5 days," Anko explained. "What about food?" Chaoji asked, panicking over the fact they would spend 5 days in a forest surrounded by monster. "You can hunt if you didn't bring any supplies," Anko said before she continued. "Also you need to sign these documents so that Konoha can't be blamed for your deaths," she concluded, and few shivered at the thought. "Oh yes, there will be deaths. Just thinking about blood makes me jump for joy," Anko said in a far too happy tone, making the genin shiver in fear and Naruto sweat drop. Anko proceeded to distribute the forms, and once everyone had signed and got their scroll, each team made its way to their respective gate. "Alright," started Anko before she pointed towards T-Forest. Chapter 13. Chunin Exams Part 3. Team 7 only has been in the Forest of Death for around 15 minutes, and they already could hear screams of other genins which unnerved the girls, but some consolation from Naruto made them feel less nervous. Before the team could make their way through the forest, Naruto's senses perked up as he saw color out of the corner of his eye, as it was a chakra presence hidden in the trees. "Hold on ladies, I got to take a leak," said Naruto as a small blush appeared on their cheeks as he slowly walked away. The girls all sat there waiting for Naruto to return so that they could continue. Naruto and Narumi began to make small talk for a while until they saw the bushes started to rustle, which they pulled out kunai and prepared for battle. Their weapons slowly started to lower down, but they still kept their guard up. Narumi, being a chakra sensor, realized that Naruto's chakra decreased dramatically to the point it was around mid-chunin, so she decided to test him. "Hey Ani-chan, are you done with your bathroom break?" said Narumi as Naruto smiled at her. "Yes, I am Minato, sorry if it took so long," responded Naruto with a small smile as the girls looked towards each other. The 3 girls wasted no time as they rushed towards the fake Naruto with the intent to kill. The impostor had no time to dodge as a chakra chain wrapped around his body so tight that he thought that he would rip into pieces, but they didn't stop there. Naruto and Satsuki delivered a punch that knocked the wind out of the impostor, causing him to spit out saliva mixed with blood. "How did you know?" said the rain genin, who reverted back to his true form and was failing to keep his consciousness. A voice behind him appeared, causing his eyes to widen. "Because my team is the strongest in this little exam, now sleep like your little friends," said Naruto with cold eyes before chopping the rain genin on the back of his, effectively knocking him out cold, along with putting all 3 of them together. Naruto then turned towards his team with a smile on his face and walked over towards them. "Well done girls, you all did a great job with figuring out the impostor," said Naruto, as their face brightened with a blush before they ran over and wrapped him into a hug. After the group knocked the rain group out and got their earth scroll, they began to make their way further into the forest without a single issue. Although, there was some animals that was very menacingly and tried to eat them. The beasts were dealt with by Naruto, who released his bloodlust, causing them to stop and get the hell out of the area as fast as they could. Team 7 was walking through the forest as they were mostly chatting, seeing that nothing important was happening. Naruto's senses kicked in as his head snapped into focus before he quickly went through hand seals. "Earth style. Mud wall," said Naruto as a fire jutsu hit the earth wall on impact, creating an explosion which made the girls shield their eyes. "Naruto-kun, what the hell was that?" said Naruto in fear at the sudden attack. Naruto's eyes narrowed dangerously as he looked at where the incoming attack came from before he spoke. That was an fireball technique, but that was not just an ordinary attack from a regular genin. "Be on guard, we have some Kamapani," said Naruto darkly with his eyes narrowed, causing them to gulp loudly as a sickly sweet voice resonated through the clearing. "Fukuku, well done with your analysis, Naruto-kun," a darkly amsued voice came from the tree that was in front of them as they all looked above them to see a woman. It was a kunoichi. From the sound, she had the standard kunoichi outfit of their hidden grass village. She had a creepy and sadistic smile on her face, which unnerved Naruto for a few moments before he reconnected himself. The unknown disguised kunoichi was very much interested in both Naruto and Satsuki, the boy who looked to have unlimited potential, and the girl who was in prodigy who unlocked her Sharingan and also next in line to heir of the Uchiha clan. Satsuki, Naruto and Narumi looked over towards each other before they nodded and attacked the enemy in a burst of speed that would rival most seasoned chunin. Naruto's eyes snapped over towards the girls as he reached out for them to stop, but they ignored the warning and attacked the kunoichi, which made the woman chuckle. Naruto pulled out a kunai before throwing it towards the kunoichi, who caught it in between her fingers as the grass kunoichi only licked her lips with her abnormally large tongue. Satsuki and Narumi appeared behind the grass nin and lashed a kick out behind her, which made the nin duck as she twisted her body in a way that they were not supposed to. The three girls cursed as the grass genin moved faster than Jonin speed as they braced for the impact to come, but it never came as they saw Naruto standing protectively in front of them. Naruto looked down at the three girls before giving a charming smile which made their hearts flutter. "Girls, go on. I will catch up with you later, now leave this one to me." The girls seemed to hesitate for a minute, but they all decided to leave the area for now. But before they left they gave parting words to Naruto. "Fine, we will leave. Just don't do anything stupid, Naruto-kun. Find us when you are done with this horse," said Satsuki with a slight worried expression on her face. The group of kunoichi left the clearing as Naruto looked back at Orochimaru with a cold expression on his face, causing him to tense up before he scattered away quickly. "I know that it's you damn snake booker," said Naruto, deadly serious expression on his face, making the disguised Orochimaru chuckle before it turned out into full-blown laughter. "I must say, Naruto-kun, I heard good things about you, but this is simply amazing. You will make a perfect host for me," said Orochimaru as he ripped the human mask off of his face. Naruto didn't say a word, he instead bit his finger and swiped blood on the seal of his arm. Poof. Naruto was standing in front of Orochimaru with a buster sword in his hand, while his cold blue eyes staring deep into Orochimaru, who took a couple of steps back from the intense look. Orochimaru's eyes widened in complete and utter shock and pure pain as a foot planted into his solar plexus so hard that it sent him crashing into multiple trees. Orochimaru held his broken ribs in pain as he was breathing heavily. He hasn't felt this much fear since his battle with Hanzo the salamander. Naruto was on Orochimaru like a bullet as he swung his sword down with much force that it split the trees behind Orochimaru, who in turn switched out with a log. Naruto didn't have enough time to turn around as a fist connected to his face, causing him to wince in pain before flipping airborne and landing on the ground softly. Naruto wiped the blood from his lips and he growled lowly. He was officially going to kill the damn snake bucker. Naruto's hands were like a blur as he went through hand seals that was unfamiliar to Orochimaru. After Naruto said the name of the jutsu, Orochimaru's heart stopped as he stared at Naruto in complete horror. Wood style. Deep forest emergence. Orochimaru was lifted from the ground by a large root from the earth. The root grabbed Orochimaru's leg before swinging him around and brutally slamming him into the ground so hard that it caused a massive crater. Naruto slowly walked towards the snake sennin with nothing but bloodlust just dancing inside of his azure blue eyes. Orochimaru coughed blood into his hand as he was visibly shaken from the last attack. All of his instincts told him to get away from the area with all of his speed. The worst thing about this scenario was that he wasn't holding back during the entire fight. Orochimaru's broken jaw stretched open to an abnormal length which made Naruto looking in nothing but disgust at the snake sennin, who was huffing and puffing. "You want to know something? I absolutely despise people like you. People like you who use others for your own gain, people who would betray their own for power. Orochimaru glared at Naruto with nothing but hate in his yellow slitted eyes. Your body will be mine. Orochimaru rushed at Naruto with sennin level speed. The Kusanagi blade came from his throat as he slashed at Naruto, who started to block the incoming attacks with his own sword. Naruto lashed out with a powerful kick to Orochimaru's face, getting a gasp of pain and a sickening crunch sound, meaning that his nose was shattered. Naruto then kneed him in the ribs, making him spit a glob blood before letting go and tossing him in the air. He then followed up with a spinning kick, which sent him crashing into the ground with a large boom that nearly shook the entire forest. Normally this would kill a regular Perone, but Orochimaru wasn't a sennin for nothing. He shakily stood to his feet as his body was shaking violently, as if it was having a seizure. He could feel that he lost around 40% of blood in his body. Naruto's eyes flashed red for a moment, which Orochimaru caught as multiple reactions spread across his face. First was confusion, second was surprise, third was shock, and lastly was pure horror on his face. He had to leave the area quickly. He would get the Uchiha body next time, but right now he had to leave this instant. How? Why you aren't an Uchiha? Roared Orochimaru, causing Naruto to smirk before he went through hand seals that was a blur to Orochimaru. This is your end. Orochimaru said Naruto as he finished his hand sign of tiger. Lightning style. Dance of the dragon. The dragon let out an piercing roar before it swallowed Orochimaru, who screamed in nothing but pain and agony. When the jutsu hit the surface, it was catastrophic for the entire landscape. Everything in the path of the lightning dragon was blown into bits, trees alike were obliterated from the explosion as only a clearing was left in the path. Naruto dropped down to one knee as he was exhausted from the battle with Orochimaru, but he couldn't rest right now until he found out where his team was. And with that he headed off, not even noticing the white snake that slithered off in the distance. Satsuki cursed inside. They all didn't want to leave Naruto with that Kunoichi, but she knew that Naruto was the most strongest person in this entire exam. Satsuki stopped where she was going as she turned back towards where Naruto was currently fighting the disguised Kunoichi. The twin redheads stopped as they stared at Satsuki, who was about to leave. Satsuki, where are you going? Naruto-kun told us to get away from the area, said Narumi, as Satsuki turned towards her with an irritated look on her face. I know what the baka said, but we can't just leave him in there. I'm going to help no matter what, responded Satsuki as the twin sighed. Then we should. The girls' heads shot back at where Naruto as their eyes widened from the loud explosion that rang out through the forest. But before they could take a step further, a kunai with an explosion tag struck in front of them, causing their eyes to widen before jumping back as the tag exploded. When the smoke cleared the area, it showed three genins with the Sound Village headbands, as they all had smirks on their face, well, except the one with bandages. Who are you and why are you here? Stated Narumi as she didn't want to waste time here while her Naruto was fighting that crazy woman from the forest. The mummy nin smirked under his bandages. We have been sent here by our lord and master to kill the Uchiha and anyone who gets in our way, Dosu spoke as their eyes narrowed onto them. If you want Satsuki, then you're going to go through me, said Naruko, while Narumi nodded along with her. Satsuki let out a small smile at the twin redheads. Fine, have it your way, screams Aku, but before he could use his jutsu, he was brutally kicked upside the head and into a tree. The genin looked towards the person as they saw spiky blonde hair, much to the relief of the girls of Team 7. Once they got a look of Naruto, the girls including Kin blushed madly as he was shirtless and parts of his pants were ripped. Ryu, that was close, Naruto spoke. Suddenly he was tackled to the ground by the girls as they wept into his chest. Naruto reassured them that he was okay, even swinging his arm around a few good times to show them that he wasn't that badly injured. Meanwhile, Aku was getting annoyed by this as he once again stuck his arm out towards Naruto and his group. I wouldn't do that if I were you, the cold voice of Naruto struck them like a rain of kunai. They turned around only to see that Aku was clutching his broken arm as he dropped to his knees and let out a horrific scream. I'll let you live, now get out of here. And leave your scroll, said Naruto coldly as Dosu nodded slowly before placing the scroll down and leaving with his team behind. Well, that went better than I expected, said Naruto with a small chuckle before he started to sweat as a deadly aura appeared behind him. Naruto slowly turned around only to meet three angry girls. Nah, Ruu, Tuo, and now G girls, we can talk this out. Naruto words fell on deaf ears as they slowly made their way to him, causing him to slowly back away and gulp thickly. A mercy, time skip, given to you by a comically beaten Naruto with three girls standing over him. Team 7 had arrived at the tower 2 days later without much trouble. After they arrived to the tower, they met up with Iruka, who was summoned from the Heaven and Earth scroll. They were then allowed inside of the tower and given their own rooms, much to the disappointment to the girls. Lemon scene skipped. Time skip. The genin who advanced through the second part of the exam was now standing in the middle of the area along with the Hokage, and the jonins of their genin teams were watching them from a distance away. The board flashed through names of the genins around as they all waited with bated breath as 2 names popped up onto the screen as the rest of the genins left from the middle of the stadium, leaving the proctor and the 2 inside of the arena. As Hate spoke, Uchiha Satsuki vs Akato Yoroi. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.